The story begins with a scientist named Will, who is on a mission to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease, a condition his father is also suffering from. With no one in the world besides his father, Will is determined to succeed at all costs. Alzheimer's gradually erodes memory, and in its final stages, patients often forget even their own identities. Seeing his father's decline, Will works tirelessly day and night until he finally develops a drug. However, testing it directly on humans is too dangerous, so he begins trials on a female chimpanzee. The results are astonishing. The chimpanzee becomes exceptionally intelligent. Overjoyed by the breakthrough, Will envisions using the drug on humans. He first informs his senior and later presents his findings to the board of members. The results are overwhelmingly positive, impressing everyone. During the presentation, the female chimpanzee appears on screen. A worker tries to move her, but she resists. When forced, she becomes furious, grabs the worker, and wreaks havoc. The chaos leads her straight into the board meeting, and Will is unable to calm her. In the end, she is fatally shot. The board concludes that Will's drug causes her aggression, and with her death, his experiment seems over. Orders are given to euthanize all other chimpanzees that have received the drug. Will pleads that his drug is not to blame, but his boss refuses to listen, insisting that a problematic drug would not cause such extreme aggression. Years of research appear wasted. However, a caretaker reveals the truth. The chimpanzee is giving birth at the time of the incident, which causes her aggression. The caretaker admits he has to kill the other chimpanzees on the boss's orders, but spares the newborn. Seizing the opportunity, Will secretly brings the baby chimpanzee home, where his father lives. Despite being young, the chimpanzee, named Caesar by Will's father, shows intelligence comparable to a human's. Caesar quickly bonds with his grandfather, and over 3 years develops remarkable skills: reading, playing games, and mimicking human behaviors. Although he cannot speak, he understands language perfectly. Meanwhile, Will's father's Alzheimer's worsens to the point where even his nurse refuses to care for him, insisting he needs hospital treatment. Heartbroken, Will takes a bold step. He secretly retrieves the experimental drug from his lab, the same one given to Caesar's mother, and administers it to his father, the first human subject. Will stays awake all night, fearing for his father's safety, but the next morning, he finds him playing the piano, fully restored. The drug works flawlessly. Caesar, meanwhile, observes children riding bikes and longs to join them. When he ventures into a neighbor's yard, the owner, a hostile man, attacks him with a baseball bat. Will and his father intervene to protect Caesar. Despite Will's explanation that Caesar means no harm, the neighbor threatens future retaliation. Caesar is injured, so Will takes him to Dr. Caroline for treatment. She quickly realizes Caesar's intelligence as he communicates through gestures. Over time, Will and Caroline form a friendship and eventually a romantic relationship, as Caroline continues to visit Will's home and spend time with Caesar. Recognizing Caesar's need for outdoor experiences, Will and Caroline take him to the Redwood Forest, a stunning natural sanctuary. Caesar loves it, and this becomes a regular part of their lives over the next 2 years. One day, a family arrives in the forest with a dog that barks at Caesar, leaving him distressed. Notably, he notices the dog's leash, which is identical to the one Will uses for him, and he gestures to Will, questioning if he is a pet. Will reassures him, "You're not a pet, you're my son." Curious about his origins, Caesar learns from Will that his mother is part of the drug experiment, which explains his extraordinary intelligence. Back at home, Will's father shows signs of relapse, and Will realizes the drug's effects on him are fading. One day, in an attempt to drive, his father loses control due to Alzheimer's and crashes into a neighbor's car. The same neighbor tries to assault him, but Caesar intervenes, biting the neighbor's finger. The neighbor files a legal complaint, and as a result, Caesar cannot remain at home. The animal control team relocates him to a facility with other chimpanzees. Caesar believes he is in a play area, but soon discovers he is now confined permanently. He gestures desperately to Will, asking to be taken home, but Will is forced to leave him. Grief-stricken by the situation and his father's worsening condition, Will decides to develop an even stronger drug to cure Alzheimer's permanently. He works relentlessly, testing the new drug on another chimpanzee. Despite a minor mishap with gas exposure to a worker, the injection succeeds, enhancing the chimpanzee's intelligence. Will and Caroline visit Caesar in his small cage, noticing his injuries and mistreatment. They confront the staff, warning them against harming him further. Caesar hopes to return home, but court restrictions prevent it. Meanwhile, Will's father refuses further treatment and passes away, leaving Caesar as Will's only family. Determined to reunite with Caesar, Will pays a substantial sum to the facility's head to take him back. Seeing the large sum of money, Will agrees. He approaches Caesar and invites him to come along. But Caesar refuses and closes the door, as he no longer wishes to leave with Will. Though parting from Will saddens him, Caesar does not want to live as someone's pet any longer. He also wishes to see the other captive chimpanzee set free. After this, Will returns. That night, a few friends of a boy who works at the facility come to see the chimpanzees. When one of them gets close to Caesar, he grabs the boy, pulls him toward himself, and takes a knife from his pocket. Using that knife, Caesar unlocks his cell at night. He sneaks out via the roof and makes his way to Will's home, where he finds the new medicine Will develops for Alzheimer's patients. Caesar carries this medicine back to the facility and releases it, allowing the other chimpanzees to inhale it. The gas grants them intelligence like Caesar's, giving them the ability to think and understand. Caesar's initial goal is to make all the chimpanzees smart enough to escape together, and he succeeds. Meanwhile, Franklin, who accidentally inhales the gas, dies, showing that the medicine is deadly to humans, but only enhances chimpanzees' intelligence. Caesar plans to escape with the other chimpanzees, but at that moment, a worker known for torturing the animals arrives. When he attempts to shock them with an electric stick, Caesar grabs his hand, warns him to keep his filthy hands away, and says no for the first time. He punches the worker, knocking him down. Will, missing Caesar deeply, calls the place where he was held, but no one answers. He rushes there with Caroline and finds the facility empty. An injured worker explains that Caesar took all the chimpanzees with him and even speaks for the first time. This worries Will greatly, as he realizes that Caesar is heading to Redwood, the place he visited in childhood. Caesar moves forward with his group through the city, and when the police try to block them at a bridge, a major confrontation ensues. However, Caesar's goal is not to harm humans, but to safely guide his companions. Caesar leads his fellow chimpanzees through the forest toward Redwood. Suddenly, a helicopter attacks them, and just as Caesar is in danger, a brave gorilla leaps onto it, causing it to crash and sacrificing its life in the process. At that moment, Koba, a chimpanzee who has been experimented on in the lab, appears. He kills the man firing at them from the helicopter. When a gorilla tries to harm a police officer, Caesar stops him, making it clear that their goal is to block humans, not hurt them. Crossing the bridge safely, they reach Redwood Park, where Will arrives shortly after and calls out to Caesar. During this time, another chimpanzee almost attacks Will, but Caesar intervenes. Will urges Caesar to come home and let go of his anger, warning that the police will kill them otherwise. Caesar embraces Will and whispers that the forest is now his home. Will realizes that Caesar has found his world and will not return with him, saying, "All right, this is your life, live it," and leaves, allowing Caesar to stay. This marks the beginning of a new world for Caesar and his companions, with him as their leader. Meanwhile, Will's neighbor, whose finger Caesar has bitten earlier, starts bleeding from his nose. Franklin, Will's colleague, who has inhaled the experimental gas, has come to deliver crucial information, but goes to the neighbor since Will isn't home. A sudden cough causes blood to spill on Franklin, infecting him as well. Being a pilot on international flights, he now risks spreading the virus worldwide, changing humanity forever. The sequel, released in 2014, depicts 10 years later, showing how human populations have drastically declined, while chimpanzee numbers grow stronger, spreading throughout the forest. Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, and a friend are exploring the forest when they encounter humans inspecting a hydroelectric dam inside chimpanzee territory, aiming to restore electricity to the city. Seeing Blue Eyes and his friend, one human panics and shoots, injuring the boy's friend. The gunshot draws all the chimpanzees, alongside the humans searching for the dam. The chimps are enraged and ready to attack, but Malcolm, the human leader, explains they only want to fix the city's power and pose no threat. Caesar allows them to leave, but warns them never to return. Koba, however, reminds the others that humans are back and need to be shown their strength. Caesar agrees, and the chimps decide to enter human territory. Riding ahead, Caesar leads his army through the now desolate city, once bright and full of technology. Malcolm, desperate because the power plant is in chimp territory, approaches Caesar to negotiate. Caesar allows the humans in, but demands they surrender all weapons. Malcolm complies, and they begin repairs, while his wife and son bond with the young chimps. A chimpanzee discovers a hidden gun and brings it to Caesar, who is furious about the humans smuggling weapons. Caesar orders the humans to leave, but upon learning his sick wife has been healed by Malcolm's wife, he grants them an extra day to complete the repairs. One human, a former police officer, distrusts the chimps and secretly brings more guns. Koba notices this and informs Caesar, enraged by human deceit. Caesar tells Koba to remain patient, angering him further. Koba accuses Caesar of caring more for humans than his own kind, prompting Caesar to attack Koba, severely wounding him. Seeking revenge, Koba raids the human camp, killing many, setting chimp homes ablaze, and, spotting Caesar alone, shoots him. Caesar falls into the bushes. Seemingly lifeless, Koba then rallies the chimps, declaring war on humans and proclaiming himself their leader. Meanwhile, humans enjoy restored electricity and normalcy, unaware of the impending threat. Koba leads his forces to seize weapons and attacks humans, killing many. A young chimp, trained by Caesar never to harm humans without reason, refuses Koba's orders and is killed, along with those who disobey. Malcolm and his wife find the injured Caesar and take him home for treatment. Once recovered, Caesar explains Koba has attacked him. Malcolm understands the situation completely. Caesar is not yet fully healed, so Malcolm brings medicine to ensure his recovery. Caesar's son almost shoots Malcolm, thinking his father is dead, but is told that Caesar is alive and Koba is the true culprit. Seeing his father alive, the boy is overjoyed and goes to free the humans and chimps captured by Koba. Malcolm helps, bringing everyone to the tower, where a police officer reveals that the army is coming to eliminate all chimpanzees and has set bombs in the tower. Malcolm and the humans flee. Caesar confronts Koba, and a fierce battle ensues. The other chimps realize Koba's betrayal. The officer detonates part of the town, killing many chimps, but Koba, Caesar, and a few others survive. Koba begins shooting at chimps supporting Caesar, but Caesar attacks from above, throwing Koba off a building. Clinging to a metal rod, Koba begs for help, but Caesar, unwilling to forgive his crimes, lets him fall to his death. Malcolm and Caesar meet, shake hands, and become allies, echoing the bond Caesar once has with Will. Malcolm warns of the approaching army, and Caesar realizes that the war between humans and chimpanzees might never truly end, marking the story's conclusion.